long before human ships crossed the Southern Ocean, long before satellites traced the frozen edge of Antarctica, long before science attempted to name or measure the creatures of the abyss. The colossal squid already lived its entire life in silence, far beneath the restless surface, in water so cold it slows the movement of muscle and thought. This animal grew, hunted, and died, without ever knowing the warmth of sunlight. Its world was shaped by pressure, darkness, and stillness, where survival depended not on speed alone, but on patience, efficiency, and perfect adaptation. To understand the colossal squid, it is necessary to travel backward through time, far beyond written history, into oceans that no longer exist. Hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth's seas were warmer, shallower, and filled with unfamiliar life drifting through mineral-rich water. Early mollusks crawled slowly along the seafloor, protected by hard shells, yet limited by their weight and their lack of speed. As predators evolved, becoming faster, sharper, and more precise, the ocean transformed into a place where armor alone was no longer enough. Some mollusks responded by changing everything about their bodies. They reduced their shells or abandoned them entirely, trading protection for flexibility and movement. Their bodies elongated, their arms multiplied, and their nervous systems became more complex. These were the first true cephalopods, ancestors of squid, octopus, and cuttlefish. They could see clearly in dim water, react instantly to danger, and move with intention through open space. In a world growing increasingly dangerous, intelligence became their most powerful defense. Over millions of years, these early squid-like animals spread throughout the oceans, adapting to countless environments. Some remained near the surface, chasing schools of fish beneath sunlight. Others followed prey downward into darker, colder waters, where competition was lower, but survival was far more demanding. Each descent required new adaptations, bodies strengthened to resist pressure, metabolism slowed to conserve energy, eyes enlarged to gather even the faintest traces of light. Eventually, one lineage moved farther south into the icy waters surrounding Antarctica. Here, the ocean was rich with nutrients, yet brutally cold, and life unfolded at a slower rhythm. In this environment, size became an advantage. Larger bodies retained heat, stored energy more efficiently, and allowed longer periods without food generation by generation. These squid grew heavier, thicker, and more powerful, evolving into something unlike any squid before them. This marked the beginning of the colossal squid's lineage, not fast like surface squid, not delicate like reef dwellers, but dense, muscular, and built for pressure. Its mantle thickened, its muscles strengthened, and its arms became armed with rotating hooks, not simple suckers. These hooks were not designed for quick strikes, but for holding onto large, struggling prey in crushing darkness. As the Southern Ocean cooled and stabilized, the colossal squid's world became one of permanence and predictability. Seasons shifted slowly. Food appeared in rare pulses, often sinking from above as dead fish, squid, or fragments of whale. Living prey included large fish and other squid, many nearly equal in size. In such a world, The colossal squid learned to wait. Movement became deliberate, energy carefully conserved, every action measured. From the moment a colossal squid egg drifted into the depths, its fate was bound to darkness. Unlike shallow water squid that hatch into sunlit seas, colossal squid hatchlings begin life already descending, carried by slow currents. Moving deeper as they grow, their bodies are fragile at first, nearly transparent, surrounded by predators that can sense the smallest vibration. Only a few survive. Those that do continue descending, layer by layer, into deeper water as pressure increases and light disappears completely. Their eyes expand dramatically, eventually becoming the largest eyes of any animal on Earth, capable of detecting the faint glow of bioluminescence from astonishing distances. Their muscles thicken, their skin toughens, and their metabolism slows further, preparing them for a life of endurance rather than speed. By the time a colossal squid reaches adulthood, it inhabits depths rarely visited by large animals, water near freezing, pressure immense, silence complete. There is no reef, no seafloor in sight, only an endless vertical world of black water. It is here, in this void, that the colossal squid becomes what it was always meant to be, a giant of the deep. As the colossal squid matures, its body grows heavy, dense, and powerful, unlike many surface-dwelling squid that rely on speed and constant motion. The colossal squid adopts a slower rhythm, conserving energy in a world where food is unpredictable. Its mantle becomes thick and muscular, capable of controlled bursts of movement, while long periods pass in near stillness, drifting, suspended, waiting. The arms and tentacles lengthen over time, each one lined with powerful suckers, many reinforced with sharp, rotating hooks. These hooks are not for tearing flesh, but for gripping, locking, and holding prey that may struggle violently in the dark. The two feeding tentacles grow longer than the others, capable of extending forward in sudden strikes, then retracting with immense strength, drawing prey toward the beak. At the center of the arms lies the beak, hard, curved, and razor-sharp, one of the few parts of the colossal squid that rivals steel in strength. This beak is capable of slicing through thick flesh, crushing bone, and dismembering prey that may weigh nearly as much as the squid itself. Once food is secured, powerful muscles pull it inward, where it is reduced to fragments and passed slowly through a digestive system adapted for efficiency rather than speed. The eyes of the colossal squid dominate its head, enormous, and perfectly adapted to darkness. Each eye can reach the size of a dinner plate, allowing it to collect even the faintest light produced by bioluminescent organisms. In the deep ocean, light does not reveal shapes, it reveals motion. A flicker, a pulse, a shimmer in the distance is often the only warning of approaching prey or an incoming threat. Despite its size, the colossal squid is not invulnerable. In the depths, it shares its world with one predator capable of challenging it, the sperm whale. These encounters are rare, but violent. Evidence of their battles is etched into the skin of whales, scars from hooks embedded deep into flesh. Proof that the colossal squid does not surrender easily. When threatened, it fights with everything it has. wrapping arms around its attacker, embedding hooks, resisting with astonishing strength. Most of the time, however, the colossal squid exists unnoticed, drifting through deep water, neither fleeing nor chasing. Its metabolism is slow, its movements economical. It hunts by patience rather than pursuit, sensing vibration, reading pressure changes, and responding only when success is likely. In a world where every movement costs energy, restraint becomes survival. Feeding events are infrequent, but substantial. A single successful capture may sustain the squid for days or even weeks. During these periods, the squid drifts again into stillness, digesting slowly, muscles relaxed, arms trailing, becoming part of the darkness itself. As years pass, the colossal squid continues to grow, though growth is gradual, not explosive. The cold water slows development, extending the squid's lifespan. Scientists believe a colossal squid may live for many years, possibly decades, though exact lifespans remain unknown, hidden within depths humans have barely explored. Eventually, the colossal squid reaches sexual maturity. This stage of life remains one of the greatest mysteries of the deep. No human has ever witnessed colossal squid mating. No eggs have been observed in the wild, yet clues exist, carried in the anatomy of preserved specimens, suggesting a final, intensive chapter of life. As maturity approaches, internal changes begin. Energy once devoted to growth shifts toward reproduction. Feeding may slow, movement patterns may change. The squid likely rises slightly higher in the water column, though still far below sunlight, seeking conditions suitable for releasing eggs or sperm into the open ocean. For the colossal squid, reproduction is likely a singular event, a final act. After releasing millions of microscopic eggs, or dispersing genetic material into the water, the adult's body begins to fail, energy reserves are depleted, muscles weaken, and the slow rhythm of the deep resumes its hold. What happens next is quiet, unobserved, and final. The colossal squid drifts, sinks, or is consumed, its body returning nutrients to the deep sea ecosystem, feeding countless smaller organisms, sustaining life far below the surface. In death, as in life, the colossal squid remains unseen. Yet its presence endures, in scars on whales, in fragments recovered from nets, in rare intact specimens pulled from darkness, reminders of a giant that lives almost entirely beyond human knowledge. After reproduction, the colossal squid's strength fades gradually, not in sudden collapse, but in a slow surrender to exhaustion. Its massive body, once held firm by dense muscle and controlled movement, begins to lose tension. The mantle no longer contracts with the same power. The arms drift more loosely, and long intervals of stillness stretch even further. In the deep ocean, death is rarely dramatic. There is no collapse to the seafloor, no visible ending. The colossal squid simply becomes slower, quieter, until motion ceases entirely. Its body, heavier than most squid, begins to sink through the dark water column, descending silently, returning to depths even deeper than those it once inhabited. As the body sinks, it becomes part of a process older than the squid itself. The recycling of life in the abyss, bacteria begin to colonize the flesh, followed by deep-sea scavengers, amphipods, worms, and slow-moving fish. Each organism takes its share, breaking the giant down molecule by molecule, feeding an ecosystem that depends on falling bodies from above. In this way, the colossal squid continues to support life long after its own has ended. Its carbon, nutrients, and energy become part of the deep ocean, sustaining creatures that may never encounter another squid of its size. In the abyss, nothing is wasted, and even giants vanish quietly. While individual lives end unseen, the species continues. Eggs released into open water drift on cold currents, rising slightly, then sinking again, each carrying the potential for another giant. Most will never survive, consumed by predators, or unable to adapt to pressure and cold. But a few, always a few, will descend successfully, repeating the ancient pattern. For humans, knowledge of the colossal squid comes almost entirely from fragments, hooks embedded in whales, beaks recovered from stomachs, damaged bodies hauled accidentally to the surface. Each discovery adds a piece, but never the whole picture. Even today, no human has observed a living adult colossal squid in its natural environment. This absence of direct observation is not a failure of science, but a reminder of scale. The Southern Ocean is vast, the depths immense, and the colossal squid spends its life in layers of water rarely visited even by submersibles. Its world exists almost entirely beyond our reach, and yet its influence is undeniable. As both predator and prey, the colossal squid shapes the deep-sea food web, regulating populations of large fish and squid, while sustaining sperm whales at the top of the abyssal hierarchy. Its presence connects surface life to the deepest ecosystems, in ways still not fully understood. In many ways, the colossal squid represents the last true mystery of large animal life on Earth. Not a relic of the past, not a fossilized memory, but a living giant thriving right now in a place humans seldom see. Its story reminds us that even in the modern age, the planet still holds secrets vast enough to humble us. Far below the waves, where pressure bends steel and darkness stretches unbroken, the descendants of ancient mollusks continue their slow, silent existence, growing, hunting, reproducing, and disappearing without witness. The colossal squid lives on, not in legend, but in cold, black water, moving patiently through a world that does not need to be seen to exist. In the endless darkness of the Southern Ocean, time itself seems to slow. Days, months, even years pass without clear markers. For the colossal squid, there is no sunrise, no sunset, only subtle changes in temperature, pressure, and the faint movements of distant life. Its existence unfolds in a steady rhythm, governed by instinct rather than urgency. Young colossal squid that survive the perilous early stages of life continue their gradual descent, moving deeper as their bodies strengthen. Their transparent tissues slowly darken, pigments developing to absorb light, helping them vanish against the black water. This camouflage is not for hiding from vision, but from detection, minimizing reflections, reducing contrast, becoming nearly invisible even at close range. As juveniles grow, their arms lengthen and thicken. Hooks begin to form along the suckers, initially small and flexible, later hardening into formidable tools. Each hook rotates freely, allowing it to grip prey from any angle, preventing escape once contact is made. These structures represent one of the most specialized hunting adaptations in the animal kingdom. The nervous system of the colossal squid expands with growth, nerve fibers thicken, reaction pathways become more efficient, enabling precise control over massive limbs. Despite its size, the squid is capable of sudden, coordinated movement, delivering short bursts of power when needed, then returning immediately to stillness, conserving precious energy. Feeding remains unpredictable. Some weeks pass without a successful hunt. During these periods, squid relies on stored energy, drifting almost motionless, arms relaxed, mantle barely contracting. This state of near suspension allows survival in an environment where chasing prey continuously would be impossible. When prey does appear, often detected only by vibration or faint bioluminescent disturbance, the response is immediate. Arms spread, tentacles extend, and within moments, the encounter is decided. There is little struggle, only pressure, grip, and control. The colossal squid does not waste effort. Every movement has purpose. Throughout its life, the squid remains largely solitary. There are no social bonds, no groups, no communication beyond instinctive responses. Encounters with others of its kind are rare and likely limited to reproduction. In the vastness of the deep, solitude is the norm. Occasionally, the colossal squid encounters human presence, not directly, but indirectly. Longlines, deep-sea trawls, research equipment descending into darkness. Most of the time, the squid avoids these intrusions unknowingly, passing unseen, unaffected. But on rare occasions, an individual is caught, dragged violently upward, exposed to pressure changes that its body cannot survive. These rare recoveries provide invaluable information, yet they also highlight how little we truly understand. Even intact specimens reveal anatomy, not behavior, structure, not story. The life of the colossal squid remains largely unwritten, unfolding beyond observation. Despite this, technology continues to advance. Deep-sea cameras, autonomous vehicles, silent drifting sensors, all slowly expanding humanity's reach into the abyss. Each year, the possibility grows that one day, a living colossal squid may be observed moving freely, as it has for millions of years. Until that moment, the colossal squid remains a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that Earth's largest habitats are also its least explored, and that some of the planet's greatest animals still live beyond our sight, in silence and darkness. Deep within the crushing layers of the Southern Ocean, the colossal squid continues its existence without awareness of time. Its life is not measured in days or years, but in cycles of feeding, drifting, and stillness. The deep sea does not reward urgency, it rewards restraint. And the colossal squid has mastered this balance over millions of years. The body of the colossal squid is built for efficiency in cold. Muscle fibers are dense, slow contracting, and powerful, allowing movement without rapid fatigue. Blood rich in oxygen-binding proteins circulates slowly, delivering what little energy is needed. In these depths, warmth is conserved, motion is minimized, and survival depends on using as little as possible. Bioluminescence flickers occasionally in the distance, tiny organisms flashing briefly, either to attract mates, confuse predators, or signal distress to the colossal squid. These flashes are information, a language of movement and presence. A sudden burst may signal fleeing prey, while a steady glow could indicate danger. The squid does not chase blindly. It interprets, then decides. When large prey approaches, such as deep-sea fish or other squid, the colossal squid positions itself carefully, orienting its body to reduce drag. Arms slightly extended, tentacles coiled and ready. The strike, when it comes, is sudden, controlled, and overwhelming. Hooks embed, arms tight, and the prey's movement ends quickly. There is no prolonged struggle, only pressure, silence, and stillness once more. Not all encounters are hunts. Sometimes, vibrations announce something far larger, heavier, moving with purpose. The approach of a sperm whale sends powerful pressure waves through the water, detectable long before the animal is visible. In these moments, colossal squid does not flee immediately. It assesses, waits, and prepares. If contact occurs, the encounter is violent. Arms wrap, hooks embed deep into flesh, and both animals exert tremendous force. For the squid, survival depends on resistance, not escape. Many whales bear scars from these battles, curved marks that trace the hooks of a colossal squid, evidence of encounters that ended with both animals alive and separated, drifting back into darkness. These confrontations are rare, but they shape the evolution of both species. The colossal squid's hooks, strength, and size are responses to predation, just as the whale's thick skin, blubber, and intelligence are responses to dangerous prey. In the deep ocean, evolution unfolds slowly, but relentlessly. As the colossal squid ages, growth slows further. Energy shifts toward maintenance rather than expansion. The body becomes heavier, more massive, yet movement grows, even more deliberate. This is a stage of life marked by endurance, not aggression. The squid hunts only when success is nearly certain and otherwise remains suspended, conserving what remains. Through all of this, the surface world remains irrelevant. Storms, seasons, ice movement, human activity. None of it penetrates far enough to matter. The colossal squid exists in a realm buffered from rapid change, insulated by depth, where life proceeds at an ancient pace. And still, far above, humans continue to wonder, to search, to send machines downward, hoping for a glimpse, a shadow, a movement in the black. Somewhere below, the colossal squid drifts on, unaware, unchanged, continuing a lineage that predates humanity and may outlast it. In the deepest layers of the Southern Ocean, where pressure reshapes biology and cold slows every chemical reaction, the colossal squid moves as if time itself has thickened. Its life unfolds without haste, without urgency. Each moment blends into the next, forming a continuous state of being rather than a sequence of events. The skin of the colossal squid is thick, resilient, and rich with specialized cells, capable of subtle changes in tone, though color has little meaning in darkness. These shifts reduce contrast, soften outlines, and help the animal merge completely with the surrounding water to other deep-sea creatures. The colossal squid is not seen, it is sensed as a presence, a distortion, a moving pressure field. Internally, the colossal squid's organs are arranged to withstand immense force. Fluids equalize pressure, tissues resist collapse, and air-filled spaces are absent, allowing survival where most animals would be crushed instantly. This biological engineering is the result of countless generations shaped by depth, each small advantage preserved over time. The brain of the colossal squid is large, complex, and highly specialized. Neural pathways prioritize sensory input, especially touch, vibration, and light detection. Decision-making is fast, but minimal. There is no wasted thought, only immediate evaluation of risk, opportunity, or neutrality. In the abyss, efficiency is intelligence. During long periods without food, the squid enters a state of extreme energy conservation. Muscle activity decreases, circulation slows, and digestion ceases entirely. In this state, the animal may drift for days or weeks, barely moving, conserving strength for the moment it is truly needed. Occasionally, deep currents shift, carrying new scents, vibrations, or chemical traces from distant feeding events. These subtle signals may prompt the squid to change depth, rising or sinking slowly, following invisible pathways through the water column. Movements are measured, gradual, never rushed. Though solitary, the colossal squid is not entirely isolated. It shares its world with countless unseen organisms, bacteria, jellyfish, fish, and other squid, all connected through delicate ecological relationships. Each life influences the others, even without contact, through presence, consumption, and decay. Over time, scars accumulate, marks from hooks, teeth, and failed predation attempts. These wounds heal slowly, leaving permanent traces on the body, a record of survival written into flesh. Each scar represents an encounter endured, a moment where survival prevailed over loss. The colossal squid does not learn in the way humans understand learning, but experience shapes response. Encounters with danger heighten sensitivity, refine movement, and sharpen judgment over years. This results in an animal that moves less, reacts faster, and survives longer. All the while, above the surface, human curiosity grows, fueled by rare footage, recovered specimens, and unanswered questions. But far below, the colossal squid continues unchanged, moving through black water, following instincts refined over millions of years, indifferent to observation, immune to fascination. As the colossal squid drifts through the deep, its presence subtly alters the space around it. Water displaced by its massive body moves slowly, creating gentle pressure waves that travel outward to smaller creatures. These waves are warnings, signals to scatter, to vanish, long before contact is possible. The arms of the colossal squid trail behind it when at rest, extended, relaxed, each one heavy with muscle, lined with suckers and hooks that remain motionless, waiting. Even in stillness, the animal is prepared. A sudden contraction, a rapid extension can occur in an instant, breaking long periods of calm with decisive force. The mantle cavity fills and empties slowly, drawing water across the gills, extracting oxygen efficiently from cold and oxygen-rich depths. Every breath is measured, every contraction deliberate. There is no excess movement, no wasted effort. In the deep ocean, conservation is survival. At times, the colossal squid encounters regions of the ocean filled with marine snow, a slow rain of organic particles sinking from the surface, fragments of life, waste, and decay. While not a primary food source, this falling material supports smaller organisms, which in turn attract prey, creating temporary zones of activity. The squid may linger nearby, sensing opportunity, without actively hunting. Depths change gradually over time, seasonal shifts, long-term climate patterns, and ocean circulation subtly reshape the squid's environment. Yet these changes occur slowly enough that adaptation keeps pace. The colossal squid remains buffered from sudden disruption, insulated by kilometers of water, continuing its life largely unaffected by surface instability. When the squid encounters another of its kind, meeting is brief, cautious, and rare. Massive bodies pass each other silently, sensing size, strength, and readiness. There is no aggression, no display, only evaluation. Then separation, each drifting back into solitude. Encounters driven by reproduction follow instincts still largely unknown, leaving no visible trace for human observers. As years pass, the colossal squid's movements become even more economical. It no longer explores widely, remaining within familiar depth ranges. Following currents it has encountered many times before, the deep ocean becomes not a vast unknown, but a slowly shifting landscape of pressure, temperature, and chemical signals. Eventually, subtle internal changes signal the approach of life's final stage. Energy reserves diminish, recovery after feeding slows, muscles lose some elasticity. The squid does not resist this change. It simply adjusts, moving less, drifting longer, waiting. In this state, the colossal squid becomes almost entirely passive, responding only to direct stimulation, conserving the last of its strength. In the deep, there is no concept of decline, only continuation, until continuation is no longer possible. And still, unseen, unheard, the colossal squid persists, a living presence in darkness, carrying forward a lineage older than mountains, older than ice, older than memory. In the deepest quiet of the Southern Ocean, where even sound seems absorbed by distance and pressure, the colossal squid exists as part of the background of the abyss, not dominating it, not disrupting it, but moving within it as naturally as water itself. Its massive form does not announce its presence. It simply occupies space, slow, heavy, inevitable. At this stage of life, the colossal squid's awareness narrows, sensory input becomes selective, reacting only to strong vibrations, sudden pressure changes, or unmistakable signals of prey or danger. The world simplifies, not through loss, but through refinement. Everything unnecessary falls away, leaving only what matters for survival. The arms, once constantly poised for action, now drift almost lifelessly, though strength remains coiled within them, waiting. The hooks, dulled slightly by years of use, still hold their purpose, reminders of countless encounters endured. Each mark, each imperfection, is a history written in flesh. Deep currents carry the squid gently, shifting it across vast distances without effort. It may traverse hundreds of kilometers over years, never knowing movement, never choosing direction, simply yielding to the slow motion of the ocean itself. In this way, the squid becomes part of the sea's circulation, as much transported as traveling. Occasionally, bioluminescent storms ignite the darkness, thousands of organisms flashing at once, brief constellations of light. For the colossal squid, these moments are not beautiful. They are data, patterns, density, direction, opportunity, or warning. Then darkness returns, thicker than before. Predators grow rarer with age, not because danger disappears, but because the squid learns to avoid it. Subtle shifts in depth and minor changes in orientation allow it to pass unnoticed. Experience becomes armor, stronger than muscle or hook. When feeding does occur, it is unhurried. The squid no longer lunges, it positions, waits, and allows prey to come close. Energy is too valuable to waste. Success is preferred over effort, and effort is avoided whenever possible. Over long spans of time, the colossal squid's body chemistry changes, hormonal signals fade, reproductive systems shut down completely. The animal enters a state of biological closure, not illness, not weakness, but completion. The life cycle has run its course. In this final phase, the squid becomes almost indistinguishable from the deep itself, motionless for hours, sometimes days, drifting, sinking, rising slightly, following the breath of the ocean. There is no struggle, no resistance, only presence, and then, gradually, absence. Yet even as one life quiets, countless others begin elsewhere, eggs drifting, juveniles descending, hooks forming, eyes enlarging. The colossal squid does not end. It continues, distributed across generations, hidden in darkness, aiding. As the colossal squid's final strength fades, the boundary between movement and stillness dissolves. Muscles no longer respond with urgency, arms drift freely, mantle contractions slow to faint pulses. The animal does not perceive an ending, only a deepening quiet, a gradual release into the surrounding water. Eventually, motion ceases entirely. The colossal squid becomes weight, mass, matter, suspended briefly, then drawn downward by gravity, sinking slowly. Through the cold layers of the abyss, its descent is unobserved, uninterrupted, lasting hours or days, until it reaches depths where few organisms ever roam. As the body settles into deeper water, life gathers quietly. Scavengers detect chemical signals, approaching cautiously. Amphipods, worms, slow-moving fish, each drawn by opportunity. The giant that once hunted becomes nourishment, sustaining an entire community for months, even years. This process unfolds without violence, without competition, each organism taking its place in the sequence, breaking down muscle, dissolving tissue, releasing nutrients back into the water. The colossal squid's physical form disappears gradually, but its energy continues, redistributed, repurposed, eternal within the deep sea cycle. Above, the surface world remains unaware. Ice shifts, storms pass, ships move on. None of it alters the quiet conclusion occurring far below, the death of. A giant does not disturb the ocean, it sustains it. Long after the body is gone, traces remain, a beak resting on the seafloor, hooks scattered among sediment, silent artifacts of a life that unfolded entirely beyond sight. These remnants may persist for decades, slowly buried, slowly eroded, until even they are gone. For scientists, these fragments are priceless, clues to anatomy, growth, and existence. Yet they represent only the aftermath, never the experience. The true life of the colossal squid remains unknowable, lived in darkness, defined by absence of observation. And still, the species endures somewhere in black water. Another colossal squid hunts, drifts, grows, following instincts refined over geological time. Its life unfolds exactly as it has for millions of years, unchanged by discovery, untouched by curiosity. The colossal squid is not a monster, not a myth, but a reminder that Earth is still vast, still mysterious, and still capable of producing life far beyond our understanding. In the great span of Earth's history, the life of a single colossal squid is brief, yet the lineage it belongs to is ancient beyond comprehension. Long before humans walked upright, long before ice covered Antarctica, long before mammals ruled the land, ancestors of this animal already moved through primordial seas, adapting, surviving, refining. Across millions of years, oceans warmed and cooled, continents drifted, currents shifted, and mass extinctions reshaped life on Earth. Through all of this, the ancestors of the colossal squid endured, changing slowly, adjusting quietly, retreating deeper when conditions demanded, growing larger, stronger, and more specialized with time. The deep ocean offered refuge, stability, and isolation. Here, evolution favored patience over speed, strength over agility, endurance over abundance. Colossal squid emerged not as a sudden giant, but as the inevitable result of these pressures, a form perfectly suited to darkness, cold, and depth. Even today, the Southern Ocean remains one of the least explored places on the planet. Vast regions have never been seen by human eyes, let alone mapped, let alone understood. Somewhere within these unseen volumes of water, colossal squid continue to live exactly as their ancestors did, unaffected by borders, politics, or time. Human knowledge advances slowly. Each rare specimen, each recovered beak, each scar documented on a whale adds another fragment to the picture. But the full story remains hidden, protected by distance, pressure, and darkness. The colossal squid does not reveal itself easily, and perhaps never fully will, and that mystery is part of its meaning. The colossal squid exists as proof that the age of discovery is not over, that Earth still holds giants, living, breathing, and unknown, not in distant galaxies, but beneath our own oceans, far below the waves, beyond reach of light, beyond sound, beyond thought. The colossal squid drifts on, a silent witness to the passing of centuries, carrying forward a lineage shaped by the deep, unchanged, unbothered, complete. In the end, the colossal squid does not need to be seen to matter. Its life unfolds whether observed or not, a reminder that nature's greatest stories often occur in silence. Even after millennia of evolution, the colossal squid remains largely untouched by the rapid changes shaping the surface world: climate shifts, human noise, artificial light. None of these penetrate far enough to disrupt its realm. The depths act as a shield, preserving ancient patterns of life, allowing creatures like the colossal squid to persist almost exactly as they always have. Within this protected darkness, the colossal squid's senses remain finely tuned to a world humans cannot experience: pressure gradients, minute chemical traces, distant vibrations. These are the signals that define reality here. A single movement, kilometers away, can register as information, guiding behavior without conscious thought. The ocean at these depths is not empty. It is simply sparse. Life exists at low density, spread thin across immense volumes of water. This scarcity shapes everything. The colossal squid does not waste energy searching endlessly. Instead, it positions itself strategically, allowing currents, gravity, and time to bring opportunity to it. In this way, the squid becomes both predator and part of the environment, not an intruder, but an integrated element of the abyssal system. Its presence influences the movement of prey, the behavior of predators, and the flow of nutrients, even without direct contact. Occasionally, a colossal squid may rise slightly higher in the water column, following prey, or responding to subtle environmental cues. These brief ascents still remain far below sunlight, existing in twilight so faint it is nearly indistinguishable from total darkness. Here, shadows blur, distances vanish, and perception relies entirely on motion and contrast. No two lives are identical. Some colossal squid may encounter whales frequently, bearing many scars. Others may pass their entire existence without a single direct confrontation. Some grow larger, heavier, slower. Others remain slightly smaller, more mobile. All follow the same fundamental pattern, shaped by chance, current, and survival. What remains constant is silence. There are no calls, no songs, no echoes exchanged between individuals. Communication is unnecessary in a world of solitude. Existence unfolds inward, guided by instinct rather than interaction. As generations pass, the deep ocean quietly records their presence, not in sound, not in light, but in balance. The colossal squid does not dominate its environment, it stabilizes it, keeping prey populations in check, sustaining apex predators, feeding countless organisms after death. And so, while humans debate, explore, and imagine, the colossal squid continues, unnoticed, unrecorded, and complete, living proof that some of Earth's greatest beings do not need attention, recognition, or understanding. In the deepest reaches of the Southern Ocean, where darkness has no boundary, the colossal squid exists beyond urgency, beyond fear, beyond ambition. Its life is shaped not by pursuit, but by balance. Each movement, Each pause, each decision reflects an ancient harmony with pressure, cold, and time. The ocean here is vast beyond comprehension, a three-dimensional wilderness where direction has little meaning. Up, down, forward. All dissolve into gradients of density and temperature. The colossal squid navigates this space without landmarks, guided instead by instinct, internal maps shaped over generations. During long periods of inactivity, the squid's mind enters a state of quiet awareness. Sensory input continues, but only the strongest signals register. The world becomes simplified, stripped of distraction, until only essential information remains: danger, opportunity, neutrality. The body responds accordingly. Muscles remain relaxed, arms drift weightlessly, hooks idle. The squid does not sleep as surface animals do, yet it rests, existing in a state between action and stillness, conserving energy while remaining ready. Occasionally, distant bioluminescent pulses ripple through the water, brief signals emitted by organisms far smaller, yet meaningful to the colossal squid. These flashes form patterns, suggesting movement, density, or disruption. The squid adjusts position subtly, rarely committing to motion unless certainty follows. Life in the abyss is governed by patience. Those that rush perish. Those that wait endure. The colossal squid embodies this truth completely, a predator shaped not by aggression, but by restraint. As years pass, subtle wear accumulates, hooks blunt, tissue thickens, scars deepen. None of this diminishes the squid's role. Instead, it reflects survival. Each mark a chapter written silently into flesh. Eventually, biological signals quiet, the drive to feed weakens, response time lengthens. The colossal squid drifts longer, moves less, and becomes increasingly passive, not failing, but completing its cycle. In this final state, the squid does not resist the ocean. It yields, allowing currents to guide it, depth to claim it, stillness to surround it. The transition is not sudden, not violent, only gradual, inevitable. And as one life fades, countless others begin. Eggs drifting, larvae descending, tiny forms beginning the same ancient journey. The colossal squid never truly disappears. It persists, scattered across generations, hidden within darkness, waiting to rise, grow, and drift once more, far below the surface, where the ocean presses inward from every direction. The colossal squid becomes nearly indistinguishable from the world around it. Its body no longer asserts itself. It blends, yielding to the slow movement of water, to gravity, to time. In this depth, even memory loses meaning. There are no repeated landmarks, no familiar paths, only gradients, subtle changes in pressure, temperature, and chemical composition. The colossal squid does not remember in images. It responds, moment by moment, shaped entirely by sensation. When currents shift, the squid drifts with them, rotating slowly, arms trailing, mantle barely moving. In this state, the distinction between animal and environment softens. The squid is no longer traveling through the ocean. It is part of its motion. Occasionally, faint vibrations pass through the water, echoes of distant life. A whale turning, a school of fish scattering, a collapse somewhere far away, These signals register briefly, then fade. The colossal squid does not pursue. It remains suspended, conserving the last reserves of energy. The deep ocean offers no comfort, but it offers acceptance. Nothing here resists the passage of time. All forms submit gradually, returning their substance to the system that sustained them. The colossal squid follows this pattern without struggle, without awareness, without fear. As biological functions slow further, the boundary between living tissue and surrounding water narrows, chemical exchanges lessen, motion ceases almost entirely. The squid enters a state of complete stillness, held gently by pressure, supported by density, drifting at the edge of existence. There is no moment of recognition, no final action. Life does not announce its departure. It simply quiets. The colossal squid does not end. It dissolves, becoming matter once more, destined to support other lives in the abyss. And somewhere far away, unseen, another colossal squid continues its slow journey, hunting, drifting, growing, repeating a cycle that has unfolded for millions of years, unchanged, uninterrupted, eternal. The deep ocean remains vast, silent, and largely unexplored, a realm where giants live and vanish without witness, where stories unfold without record, where existence itself is enough. In the abyss, there is no separation between past and present. The colossal squid exists within a continuity so vast, individual lives blur into an ongoing presence. Each generation inherits not memory, but form, instinct, and rhythm, shaped by pressures that never hurry. The water surrounding the squid is ancient. Some of it has not touched the surface for centuries, moving slowly through global currents, carrying heat, nutrients, and history. The colossal squid drifts within this moving archive, unaware, yet inseparable from it. Nothing in this world is wasted. Every movement displaces water. Every feeding alters chemical balance. Every death redistributes energy. The colossal squid participates in these exchanges simply by existing. Its life is not dramatic, but essential, contributing to stability far beyond its own awareness. Far above, sunlight drives weather, seasons, and change, but down here, constancy reigns, temperature shifts are minimal, light absent, sound muted. This stability allows life to specialize, to refine, to become extreme. The colossal squid is one such refinement, a form perfected by constraint. Occasionally, disturbances arrive from above. A whale dives, a current intensifies, debris sinks from the surface. These events ripple downward, briefly interrupting stillness. The colossal squid registers them, adjusts slightly, then returns to equilibrium. In rare moments, technology descends into this realm. Cameras, lights, machines intrude briefly. Artificial brightness cuts through darkness, startling smaller life. But the colossal squid, if present at all, remains distant, concealed by depth or simply unmoved. Human presence is fleeting, insignificant at this scale. The deep ocean does not reveal itself easily. It absorbs curiosity, swallows evidence, and preserves mystery. The colossal squid benefits from this concealment, living beyond interference, beyond pursuit, beyond comprehension. And so, while humans construct narratives, assign meanings, and seek endings. The colossal squid continues without conclusion. There is no final chapter, only continuation, life emerging, drifting, fading, and emerging again. Somewhere in cold black water, a juvenile squid descends for the first time, eyes enlarging, hooks forming, muscles strengthening, beginning a journey identical to countless others before it, unaware of lineage, unaware of scale, yet perfectly aligned with its world. The ocean closes around it, pressure increases, darkness deepens, and the ancient rhythm resumes. In this world without landmarks, existence unfolds as a gradual process rather than a sequence of events. The colossal squid does not experience beginnings or endings, only states of being, moments of motion, followed by long stretches of stillness, all blended into one continuous flow. The deep sea itself becomes a guide. Subtle changes in pressure signal depth. Minute shifts in temperature hint at distant currents. Chemical traces reveal life that passed long before. The colossal squid responds to these cues without awareness, moving instinctively, shaped by forces older than thought. During extended periods of drifting, the squid's body aligns naturally with surrounding water, reducing resistance, conserving strength. Arms trail behind, tentacles loosen, hooks remain idle, ready, but unused. In these moments, the animal appears less like a hunter and more like a shadow carried by the ocean itself. When movement is required, it is minimal, a gentle contraction of the mantle, a slight change in orientation, just enough to reposition, just enough to avoid danger or intercept opportunity. The colossal squid never wastes motion. In the abyss, every action carries cost. Life around the squid continues quietly. Gelatinous creatures pulse slowly. Fish glide past at a distance. Microscopic organisms drift endlessly. Each follows its own rhythm, intersecting only briefly, then separating again. The deep ocean is not crowded, but it is alive, layered with quiet activity. As years pass, the colossal squid's body bears the evidence of endurance. Skin thickened by pressure, scars smoothed by time, hooks worn by countless uses. These marks do not weaken the animal, they record survival, persistence, adaptation. The squid's presence influences its surroundings even in stillness. Prey alters course, smaller predators retreat. Scavengers wait at the margins. In this way, the colossal squid shapes behavior without pursuit. Its mere existence creating space and silence. Eventually, biological rhythms slow further. Feeding becomes less frequent. Recovery takes longer. The squid responds not with resistance, but with adjustment, drifting longer, moving less, yielding to the deep's natural pace. And while this individual life approaches its quiet completion, others continue elsewhere, eggs drifting in cold water, larvae descending, juveniles adapting to pressure. The cycle renews endlessly, hidden from sight, secure in darkness. The colossal squid does not seek meaning, yet its existence carries one, a reminder that life can thrive without visibility, without recognition, without noise, deep beneath the surface, patient, complete, enduring. In the abyssal world, continuity matters more than individuality. The colossal squid exists as one expression of a pattern that never truly breaks, Lives begin, unfold, and dissolve, yet the form persists, carried forward through slow adaptation and endless repetition. The water surrounding the squid moves in vast, invisible rivers, currents that circle the planet over centuries. The colossal squid drifts within these flows, sometimes carried far from where it hatched, never aware of distance, only responding to pressure, density, and balance. In moments of complete stillness, the squid's body aligns perfectly with its environment, muscles relaxed, mantle motion barely perceptible, arms hang in long arcs, hooks dormant. The distinction between living tissue and surrounding water becomes subtle, almost theoretical presence without assertion. When prey does appear, it often comes unexpectedly, a vibration, a shimmer, a brief disturbance in the darkness. The squid responds not with haste, but with certainty, a single controlled movement, arms closing, hooks anchoring. The encounter ends as quietly as it began. Darkness settles again. Between these rare moments, existence returns to suspension. Time stretches, compresses, loses definition. The colossal squid does not count its days, it endures them, one indistinguishable interval after another, until endurance itself becomes its defining trait. Scars deepen, not as injuries, but as markers of survival. Each one tells of resistance, of holding fast, of strength applied at the right moment. The body carries this history silently, without memory, without reflection. As energy reserves decline, the squid adjusts naturally, drifting longer, sinking slightly deeper, allowing the ocean to support its mass. Movement becomes almost ceremonial, reduced to what is strictly necessary. In the deep, reduction is not loss, it is refinement. Above, human instruments continue to probe sonar pulses, cameras, sensors, brief interruptions in a realm measured in centuries. Yet even when technology passes nearby, the colossal squid remains largely unaffected, hidden by darkness, protected by scale, indifferent to curiosity. Eventually, the deep ocean reclaims even the strongest forms, not through force, but through patience. The colossal squid yields gradually, its substance returning to circulation, its role fulfilled, its presence redistributed across countless other lives. And still, somewhere in black water, another colossal squid drifts, alive, growing, waiting, continuing. A story without audience, without end, sustained by darkness and time. In this depth, the ocean does not remember individuals, it remembers balance. The colossal squid contributes to that balance simply by existing, by feeding, by drifting, by eventually returning its mass to the system that sustained it. Nothing here demands urgency. There is no competition for territory, no borders to defend, no need for display. The colossal squid lives without conflict most of the time, its size alone reducing the need for confrontation, silence acting as protection. As the squid ages, sensory responses dull slightly, not through failure but through economy. Only the strongest signals register now: heavy vibrations, close movement, unmistakable presence. Everything else fades into background noise, absorbed by the vastness of water. The arms hang heavier, their great length tracing slow arcs in the darkness. Hooks remain capable, but movement is Restrained, controlled, deliberate, the squid no longer seeks opportunity. It allows opportunity to approach, trusting time and probability. Currents shift subtly, guiding the squid into deeper layers. Where pressure increases, temperature drops slightly, and life thins even further. This descent is not intentional. It is permissive, a gradual yielding to gravity and density. In these depths, even predators are scarce. Encounters become rare, feeding becomes infrequent. Yet the squid endures, sustained by reserves built over years, drifting in long spans of near-total stillness. When motion does occur, it is minimal, a slow contraction, a gentle reorientation, just enough to maintain equilibrium. The colossal squid becomes an object of the deep, moving only when necessary, otherwise resting within the ocean's embrace. Above, storms rage, ice fractures, climates shift, human histories unfold. None of it reaches here, the deep ocean. Remains insulated, timeless, patient, allowing life like the colossal squid to persist beyond the turbulence of the surface world. Eventually, internal rhythms slow beyond recovery. Chemical exchanges weaken, muscle tone relaxes completely, the boundary between life and environment softens, until it is no longer distinct. And so, without witness, without sound, without resistance, the colossal squid's individual existence fades, leaving behind only redistributed matter and an enduring pattern carried forward by generations yet to descend. In the deepest stillness, where pressure equalizes all motion, the colossal squid becomes almost weightless, not because it is light, but because the ocean carries it completely, supporting every surface, every contour, every remaining trace of movement. The distinction between drifting and sinking fades. The squid no longer corrects its position, no longer resists descent. It allows the water to decide, depth chosen by density, by gravity, by the quiet laws that govern the abyss. Chemical signals leak slowly from the body, invisible trails marking transition. Deep-sea organisms detect these traces long before physical contact, approaching cautiously, circling, waiting in the deep. Patience belongs not only to giants, but to all life. There is no final struggle, no sudden collapse. Life here does not end with drama. It resolves. Gradually, gently, until the processes that once sustained movement fall silent. The colossal squid's body settles into deeper layers, becoming substrate, becoming resource. The muscles that once held prey now nourish scavengers. The mantle that propelled motion becomes shelter. The beak, indestructible, remains long after everything else is gone. This transformation takes time. Months, years unfolding slowly. Each stage supports new life, amphipods feeding, bacteria blooming, fish passing through. The giant's presence persists, not as form but as function. Eventually, even the last recognizable structures disperse, hooks scatter, tissues dissolve, energy diffuses into the water column. Indistinguishable from the ocean itself, the colossal squid no longer exists as an individual, yet its influence remains. Above, the deep ocean continues its slow circulation, carrying nutrients upward, supporting surface life. Linking abyss to atmosphere, The colossal squid has become part of this exchange, contributing silently to systems far beyond its awareness. And somewhere else, far away in cold black water, another colossal squid drifts, alive, intact, unaware of predecessors, yet following the same ancient rhythm, growing, waiting, enduring. The cycle continues, unseen, unrecorded, complete. In the vast quiet that follows, the deep ocean absorbs all change. It does not mark endings, it redistributes them. Matter, energy, and presence spread outward, becoming indistinguishable from the environment that receives them. The colossal squid's existence now persists only as influence. Nutrients released into the water feed microscopic life, which feeds larger forms, which in turn sustain predators far above. The impact of a single life echoes gently, diffused across space, stretched across time. In this way, the abyss functions as both cradle and archive. It holds the remains of countless lives, layered invisibly, never crowded, never exhausted. The colossal squid is one among many, yet its scale ensures its contribution is vast, quietly reinforcing the deep-sea web. Elsewhere, far from where one life has ended, another begins. A newly hatched squid drifts downward, fragile, transparent, carried by currents it cannot resist. Its eyes begin to grow, sensing light that barely exists. Its body adapts moment by moment, responding to pressure, cold, and movement. This descent is perilous. Many will not survive, but the pattern has endured because some always do. Those that survive continue downward, becoming stronger, denser, slower, learning nothing, remembering nothing, yet perfectly aligned with an ancient design. Over years, this young squid will grow into the form humans know only from fragments, hooks forming, mantle thickening, eyes expanding into vast sensors of darkness. It will hunt, drift, and persist, just as others have before. The ocean does not hurry this process. It allows it to unfold at its own pace, measured in decades, shaped by forces that ignore urgency. The colossal squid thrives because it belongs to this tempo, neither resisting nor accelerating, simply existing. Far above, human curiosity continues. Stories are told, images imagined, questions asked. Yet the reality remains. Largely untouched, life proceeds in darkness, indifferent to observation, complete without audience. The colossal squid is not hidden by intention. It is hidden by scale, by depth, by patience. It occupies a realm where secrecy is the default and revelation is rare. And so, while the surface world changes rapidly, the deep ocean remains slow, vast, and enduring, carrying forward lives like that of the colossal squid, generation after generation, in silence. The deep ocean does not distinguish between beginnings and endings. It recognizes only flow. The colossal squid exists within this flow, emerging, persisting, dissolving, without interruption to the larger system. In this environment, extremes become normal: pressure that would crush surface life, cold that would still movement, darkness that would disorient. All become conditions to which the colossal squid is perfectly tuned, not through resistance, but through accommodation. The squid's form reflects this philosophy: dense, compact, efficient, Every structure serves purpose. Nothing decorative, nothing excessive. Evolution in the deep ocean strips life down to what works and leaves it there. While humans often imagine giants as aggressive, dominating, destructive, the colossal squid is none of these. It is not a conqueror. It does not control territory. It simply occupies space and responds when required. The vast majority of its life passes without incident. No hunts, no threats, no encounters, only drifting, subtle adjustment, stillness. These uneventful stretches define the animal more than rare moments of action. In this way, the colossal squid challenges surface notions of survival. It thrives not by constant effort, but by knowing when not to move, when not to chase, when not to act. As time passes, generations overlap, juveniles descending, adults drifting, elders fading, all within different layers of the water column. The population persists not through abundance, but through continuity. The deep ocean stability allows this continuity, buffering life from rapid change, preserving ancient forms. The colossal squid benefits from this insulation, existing almost exactly as it did long before humans appeared. And even now, as technology advances, the deep remains resistant. Cameras fail, pressure limits exploration, darkness absorbs light. Colossal squid continues to live beyond direct observation, its story unfolding without record. Yet that absence of record is itself a message, a reminder that the planet still contains vast realms where life proceeds independently of human attention, silently, completely, and on its own terms. In the immense depth where the colossal squid lives, the ocean becomes a single continuous presence. There are no sharp boundaries, only gradual transition from colder to colder, darker to darker, quieter to quieter. The squid moves within these gradients instinctively, never choosing a destination, only responding to comfort, balance, and survival. When pressure feels wrong, it adjusts. When temperature shifts, it drifts. Every correction is small, measured, economical. The deep sea teaches endurance rather than speed. Creatures here do not rush. They persist. The colossal squid embodies this lesson fully, built not for pursuit, but for longevity. Its strength lies in how little it needs, not how much it can do. During long spans of inactivity, the squid's body becomes almost neutral in the water, neither rising nor sinking, suspended in perfect equilibrium. Arms trail, mantle rests, hooks remain still, ready, but unused. This equilibrium allows the squid to exist for extended periods without expenditure, conserving energy, preserving function, waiting for moments that matter. In the deep, waiting is not passive, it is strategy. The world around it remains sparse. Occasional life passes through. A fish, a jelly, another squid. Most continue on, untouched, unnoticed. The colossal squid does not engage unless necessity demands it, restraint governing every response. As age advances, the squid's reactions slow slightly, not from weakness, but from precision. Only clear signals prompt movement now. Ambiguity is ignored. Energy is too valuable for uncertainty. Over time, the body grows heavier, more massive, movement becomes rarer. The squid yields more fully to the ocean's support, drifting deeper, longer, quieter. Above, centuries pass, ice advances, ice retreats. Human civilizations rise and fall. None of this penetrates the abyss. The deep ocean remains a refuge from time itself, allowing creatures like the colossal squid to exist beyond history. And still, somewhere in this vast darkness, life continues, slow, patient, unseen. The colossal squid drifts on, part of a system that does not require observation, only balance, only time. In the abyss, time stretches until it loses shape. Moments do not follow one another, they overlap, dissolve, and merge. The colossal squid exists within this expanded time, where patience is not learned, it is inherited. The deep ocean does not reward excess, it rewards balance, restraint, and efficiency. The colossal squid reflects this in every aspect of its being, massive yet economical, powerful yet reserved, capable of violence, yet defined by stillness. When currents carry faint chemical trails through the water, the squid senses them without awareness, interpreting meaning through instinct alone, a trace of prey, a sign of decay, a warning of something larger. Each signal prompts only what is necessary, never more. The eyes, enormous and unblinking, remain open continuously, scanning not for shape, but for change. A sudden flicker, a brief distortion, is enough to define an entire response. The darkness does not conceal danger, it reveals it through movement. Between these moments, the squid rests in suspension, arms extended, hooks idle, mantle barely moving. In this state, it is neither hunter nor hunted, only presence, occupying a volume of cold water, held in equilibrium by density and pressure. As years pass, biological imperatives soften, feeding becomes sporadic, growth ceases entirely. Energy is devoted only to maintenance, to remaining intact, to persisting quietly within the deep. The squid's body becomes an archive of endurance, scars layered over scars, tissue reinforced by time, hooks worn smooth at their edges. These changes do not weaken the animal, they refine it, reducing risk, conserving strength. Eventually, the ocean itself begins to guide the final phase. Currents draw the squid deeper, temperatures drop incrementally, pressure increases. The animal does not resist, it adjusts, slowly, passively, yielding to the direction of the deep. In this descent, the boundary between individual life and environment fades. The squid becomes less an organism, more a moving mass within the system, responding, adapting, dissolving into process rather than event. And somewhere, far away, a new life continues its own descent. Fragile, unaware, yet following the same ancient pathway, the colossal squid endures not through memory, but through repetition, through cycles that have no beginning and no final end. The deep ocean remains indifferent to individual stories. It does not preserve names, moments, or identities. It preserves balance, circulation, and continuity. The colossal squid exists within this indifference, sustained by it, and eventually absorbed by it. In this realm, there is no urgency to act, no pressure to change. Evolution moves slowly, refining only what is necessary. The colossal squid stands as one of these refinements, a form so well suited to darkness and pressure that little alteration is required. As currents shift subtly, the squid drifts across invisible boundaries, passing from one water mass to another. Each carries its own temperature, chemistry, and density. The squid adjusts unconsciously, maintaining equilibrium, conserving strength. The silence here is complete, not the absence of sound, but the absence of disturbance. Vibrations dissipate quickly. Light does not travel. Motion fades into stillness. The colossal squid becomes part of this silence, moving only when compelled by unmistakable signal. In long intervals of rest, the squid's body settles into near-perfect neutrality. Arms extend gently. Hooks remain unused. Mantle motion slows to the minimum required for life. In these moments, the animal is neither active nor dormant, simply present. Life nearby continues in parallel, unseen, unnoticed. Microorganisms drift. Jellyfish pulse faintly. Fish pass at the edge of perception. The colossal squid does not engage. Restraint defines its existence more than action. As age advances, the squid's interactions diminish, not from weakness, but from selectivity. Only the clearest opportunities prompt response. Only the strongest signals demand movement. Everything else fades into background. The deep ocean supports this selectivity, providing stability, consistency, and protection from sudden change. In return, the colossal squid contributes its mass, its energy, and eventually its substance to the system that sustains it. This exchange has occurred countless times over millions of years, lives beginning, unfolding, dissolving, without witness, without interruption. The colossal squid is one thread with this vast fabric, strong, ancient, and quietly enduring. And so, beneath kilometers of cold black water, far beyond the reach of light and noise, the rhythm continues, slow, patient, complete. The colossal squid drifts on, unseen, unhurried, part of a world that does not require observation, only existence. In the depths where the colossal squid lives, the concept of direction loses importance. There is no horizon, no surface reference, only gradients of pressure, temperature, and density. The squid navigates this space instinctively, adjusting its position without awareness, guided by sensations too subtle for surface life to comprehend. The ocean here is ancient, water that has traveled slowly around the planet, descending, rising, circulating over centuries. The colossal squid drifts within these slow rivers, carried across vast distances, never knowing movement, never resisting it, simply existing within the flow. Stillness dominates this world. Action is rare, purposeful, and brief. The squid may go days, weeks, without meaningful movement, suspended in darkness, arms relaxed, hooks idle, mantle barely contracting, conserving energy in a realm where conservation is survival. When interaction does occur, it is decisive. There are no warnings, no chases, no prolonged struggle, a vibration, a flicker, a sudden displacement of water, and the response follows immediately, precise, overwhelming, final. Darkness closes again. Between these moments, the colossal squid returns to quiet equilibrium, drifting, rotating slowly, becoming once more a shadow among shadows. The deep does not reward constant effort, it rewards restraint. And the squid embodies this lesson perfectly. As years pass, biological systems simplify, not through loss, but through focus. Functions unnecessary for deep existence fade while essential systems endure. The squid becomes more efficient, more economical, more attuned to its environment with time. Scars deepen, hooks wear, tissue thickens. Each change reflects survival rather than decline. The body records encounters not as memories, but as structure, adapting silently to what it has endured. Eventually, movement slows further, recovery takes longer, feeding becomes rare. The squid responds by drifting longer, sinking deeper, yielding more completely to the ocean's support. There is no resistance, only acceptance of the deep's rhythm. Above, human curiosity persists. Questions remain unanswered, images imagined, narratives constructed. Yet far below, the colossal squid continues unchained, its life unfolding without awareness of inquiry, complete without explanation. And so, in cold black water, under pressure that bends steel, within silence that absorbs sound, the colossal squid drifts on, a living form shaped by darkness, sustained by patience, enduring beyond sight, beyond time. In the abyss, the passage of time leaves no visible trace. There are no seasons, no cycles of light, no clear markers of change. The colossal squid exists within this timelessness, its life unfolding without reference, guided only by internal rhythm and environmental balance. The deep ocean holds everything gently, supporting mass, absorbing motion, dampening disturbance. The colossal squid benefits from this embrace. Its enormous body carried effortlessly, buoyed by density, freed from the need to fight gravity. When currents shift, they do so gradually, imperceptibly, carrying the squid along invisible paths. These movements may transport it across entire basins. Yet to the squid, nothing changes. Pressure, temperature, darkness remain constant. Continuity preserved. Moments of awareness come only with disruption, a strong vibration, a sudden pressure wave, an unmistakable chemical trace. These signals pierce the background stillness, prompting brief focus, controlled response, then a return to quiet equilibrium. The squid's arms extend and retract with deliberate economy. Hooks engage only when certainty is absolute. There is no trial, no hesitation. The deep ocean allows little margin for error, and the colossal squid has evolved to act only when success is likely. Between such moments, existence returns to suspension, arms trail. Mantle rests, eyes remain open, receiving without searching. The squid does not sleep, yet it rests continually, conserving energy, preserving form, waiting. Life around it remains sparse, widely spaced, each encounter fleeting, each organism following its own ancient script. Intersections are rare and separation immediate. The deep ocean is vast enough that solitude is the norm. As age advances, biological urgency fades, growth has long ceased, reproduction complete, only maintenance remains. The squid adapts by doing less, moving less, responding less, endurance replacing action. Eventually, the ocean begins to guide the final transition, subtle changes in buoyancy, gradual descent, deeper layers reached without effort. The squid does not resist, it yields, trusting the environment that has sustained it for so long. And while this individual life moves toward quiet resolution, countless others continue elsewhere, descending, adapting, growing, repeating a pattern that has no beginning and no final conclusion. The colossal squid endures, not as one life, but as an ongoing presence within the deep. As the colossal squid yields further to the deep, the distinction between choice and movement disappears. Currents decide direction, density determines depth. The squid becomes an object carried, rather than an animal traveling, existing within motion rather than causing it. The deep ocean accepts this. Surrender without response. There is no reaction, no signal, no disruption. Life here is accustomed to gradual change, to quiet transitions, to endings that resemble continuation. Chemical exchanges slow, internal rhythms lengthen. The mantle contracts only when necessary. Gills draw water gently, extracting what little energy is still required. The body functions at the lowest possible threshold, sustained by efficiency refined over millions of years. Scavengers sense what is coming long before it occurs, not as certainty, but as possibility. Chemical traces spread thinly through the water, unreadable to most, but meaningful to those attuned to transition. They wait, patient, distant, allowing time to finish its work. There is no final awareness, no recognition of completion. The colossal squid does not perceive an end, only an ever-deepening stillness. Motion fades into suspension, suspension into descent, descent into rest. When contact with deeper layers occurs, the body settles gently, supported by pressure, surrounded by darkness. Here, transformation continues at the pace of the abyss, slow, thorough, inevitable. Tissue yields, structure softens, matter disperses. Each change releases energy back into the system, sustaining organisms that thrive only where giants fall. The colossal squid becomes foundation, nourishment, environment. Time passes without measure, months, years, perhaps longer. The last recognizable forms dissolve, leaving only fragments, hooks, the beak, traces that persist longer than flesh, then fade as well. Above, currents carry nutrients upward, linking deep to surface, abyss to atmosphere. The influence of one life extends far beyond its final position, woven invisibly into global systems. And still, elsewhere, another colossal squid drifts, alive, growing, untouched by this transition, following the same ancient pattern, beginning again what has never truly ended. In the abyss, completion leaves no trace of finality. What ends simply becomes something else, redistributed, absorbed, transformed. The deep ocean does not pause to acknowledge transition. It flows onward, unchanged by individual absence. The colossal squid's influence now exists only as quiet contribution, nutrients dispersed, energy transferred, space made available. Life reorganizes itself around what remains, without ceremony, without awareness. The abyss functions through accumulation rather than memory. Layers of change settle invisibly, never recorded, never erased. The colossal squid joins countless others that have passed before, all integrated into a system too vast to notice any single loss. Elsewhere, far from this quiet transformation, Another squid continues to mature, its body strengthening, eyes enlarging, hooks sharpening. It drifts deeper with time, learning nothing, remembering nothing, yet perfectly prepared for the world it enters. This continuity is the true permanence of the deep, not individuals, but patterns, not events, but processes. The colossal squid persists because the environment that shaped it remains stable, resistant to rapid change, patient beyond measure. The deep ocean shields such life from the surface world, insulating it from noise, from light, from haste. Here, evolution moves slowly, refining only what is necessary, preserving forms that work. The colossal squid is one such preserved solution. Human understanding approaches only from the edges, through rare encounters, recovered fragments, distant observations. The outline of the animal emerges, yet the lived reality remains untouched, unfolding where curiosity cannot follow. This distance is not failure, it is perspective. A reminder that the planet contains realms where life proceeds independently of attention, where existence does not require documentation or meaning. In cold black water, beneath pressure that defines every motion, the rhythm continues, slow, steady, uninterrupted. Giants live, giants fade, and the deep remains, carrying forward all that has ever entered it. The deep ocean does not accumulate stories. It accumulates balance. Each life, no matter how large, is folded gently into a system that measures success not by survival alone, but by continuity. The colossal squid's existence is one of alignment rather than dominance. Its form matches its environment so completely that separation becomes difficult to imagine. Muscle, pressure, cold, darkness, all operate in quiet agreement. In this agreement, there is no excess, no urgency, no struggle for meaning. The squid moves when movement is required, rests when rest preserves energy, feeds when opportunity is sought, and yields when continuation no longer serves the pattern. Far above, the surface world is defined by light, by noise, by rapid change. But none of these forces penetrate the depths where the colossal squid lives. The abyss remains insulated, allowing ancient rhythms to persist undisturbed. This insulation is why the colossal squid exists at all, why such a massive, specialized form could arise and endure. The deep offers what the surface cannot: stability, patience, and time. Across generations, the form remains consistent. Small variations occur: size, growth rate, minor structural differences. But the essence persists, refined, tested, preserved. The squid does not innovate, it endures. It does not explore, it inhabits. It does not conquer, it fits. When one life ends, another is already underway, descending, adapting, growing. The cycle does not restart. It simply continues, uninterrupted, indifferent to observation. In this way, the colossal squid represents not mystery alone, but reminder that Earth is still vast, still layered, still home to lives unfolding beyond sight, beyond sound, beyond comprehension. And so, beneath kilometers of cold water, in darkness that never breaks, the colossal squid drifts on generation after generation, silent, complete, and perfectly at home in the deep. In the deep, there is no observer, No audience. No witness. Life unfolds without acknowledgement, without record. The colossal squid exists within this privacy, its actions unmeasured, its presence unannounced. The abyss is not empty. It is simply vast. Distances stretch until encounters become rare, until solitude becomes the default condition. The colossal squid thrives here because it does not seek contact. It does not require interaction. It persists independently. Pressure shapes every moment, compressing space, slowing motion, refining form. The squid's body accepts this compression, distributing force evenly, resisting collapse, functioning where few complex organisms can endure. In such an environment, size becomes both protection and commitment. A large body stores energy, resists sudden change, and discourages most threats. But it also requires patience, long intervals between meals, extended periods of stillness. The colossal squid accepts this trade without awareness. When feeding occurs, it is decisive, not frequent. A single successful encounter may sustain the animal for weeks or longer, allowing it to return quickly to drifting, to conserving, to waiting. The deep ocean rewards this strategy. Abundance is rare, opportunity unpredictable. Those that endure do so by minimizing need, not maximizing effort. The colossal squid exemplifies this principle completely. Over time, movement becomes even more limited, not through decline, but through refinement. Only necessary actions remain, everything else falls away. The animal becomes quieter, heavier, more integrated with its surroundings. Eventually, the line between organism and environment softens. The squid drifts, not through the ocean, but as part of it, carried by forces it does not resist, supported by pressure, absorbed by stillness. And elsewhere, always elsewhere, another life continues, unseen, growing, descending, repeating a pattern older than memory. The colossal squid does not vanish. It persists, distributed across time, concealed within darkness. The deep remains patient, immense, and complete, carrying forward lives like these, beyond sight, beyond sound, beyond end. The abyss does not distinguish between presence and absence. It simply accommodates both. When a colossal squid is there, the water adjusts. When it is gone, the water closes, leaving no gap. No memory, only continuity. The deep ocean is shaped by forces too slow to notice, currents that move over centuries, temperatures that change over millennia, pressure that never relents. The colossal squid exists because it aligns with these forces, never opposing them, never rushing ahead of them. Its life is not a sequence of events, but a sustained condition, drifting, waiting, responding, then drifting again. This rhythm repeats endlessly, not as habit, but as necessity. In the deep, repetition is stability. Even encounters with danger are absorbed into this rhythm. A whale passes, pressure waves ripple. The squid responds briefly, arms tight, hooks ready, then separation, and the ocean returns to stillness. Conflict is momentary, equilibrium eternal. Nothing here is wasted, not movement, not stillness, not death. Every stage feeds the next. Every transformation supports another form. The colossal squid participates in this exchange simply by existing, by yielding when required, by enduring when possible. Far above, humans struggle to understand such a life, to frame it in stories, to measure it in moments. But the deep ocean resists these frameworks. It does not explain, it continues. And so, beneath kilometers of water, in darkness that never thins, the colossal squid remains, not as a mystery to be solved, but as a reality to be accepted, life thriving. Without witness, without noise, without end. Somewhere now another colossal squid drifts, alive, immense, patient, following the same ancient rhythm as countless others before it, and countless others yet to come. The ocean holds them all quietly, completely, forever. In this depth, existence is not observed. It is absorbed. The colossal squid lives without reflection, without awareness of scale. Yet its presence bends the space around it, water moving differently, life responding subtly, silence adjusting. The abyss has no preference, no judgment. It neither favors giants nor diminishes them. It allows forms that fit and releases those that do not. The colossal squid fits perfectly, its shape, mass, and rhythm aligned with the slow heartbeat of the deep. Here, energy is precious, conserved through restraint. Movement is chosen carefully, not because danger is constant, but because waste is unforgiving. The squid moves only when necessity outweighs cost, then returns immediately to stillness. Long spans pass without interruption, drifting, equilibrium, darkness. The squid's eyes remain open, sensing change, but never searching. In the abyss, searching expends energy, waiting preserves it. Occasionally, distant life stirs, a migration, a feeding event, a collapse far above. Signals travel downward slowly, diluted, faint. The squid registers them only if they matter, otherwise dissolve into background. As years accumulate, the animal becomes quieter, not weaker, but more selective. The ocean does not demand constant performance. It demands endurance, and endurance favors reduction. The colossal squid reduces itself to essentials: movement, feeding, balance. Everything else becomes unnecessary, falls away, leaving a form defined by purpose alone. In this refinement, there is no struggle, no loss, only alignment. The squid and the ocean move together, one supporting the other, indistinguishable in intent. And so, beneath all disturbance, beneath all inquiry, the deep continues its slow unfolding. Giants drift, giants fade, new giants descend, all within the same vast, patient system. The colossal squid is not an exception. It is an expression of what life becomes when time is abundant and silence is absolute. In the deepest layers of the ocean, where pressure defines every boundary, life moves not toward progress, but toward balance. The colossal squid embodies this balance completely, existing without excess, without urgency, without resistance. The abyss does not reward ambition, it rewards fit. Those that endure are those that align. The squid's immense size, slow metabolism, and deliberate movement reflect this truth. Each trait answers a demand imposed by darkness, cold, and scarcity. When the squid drifts, it does so without destination, carried by currents that have moved this way for centuries. Its body remains relaxed, arms extended, hooks idle, eyes open, receiving, never demanding. In these moments, the squid becomes part of the ocean's structure, a temporary density, a moving volume, influencing flow, altering pressure, shaping the space around it, even in stillness. Encounters remain rare and brief, a passing fish, a distant predator, a faint chemical trace. Each interaction is evaluated instantly, then released. The deep does not encourage attachment, only response. As age advances, the squid's internal rhythms lengthen, recovery slows, movement becomes increasingly rare. The animal adapts by yielding more completely to buoyancy, allowing the water to support its mass, eliminating effort wherever possible. This surrender is not weakness. It is strategy refined to its purest form. In the abyss, survival is achieved not by doing more, but by doing less. The colossal squid is the ultimate expression of this principle. When the end approaches, it does not announce itself. It arrives as a continuation of stillness. Movement ceases, balance shifts, descent begins, all without awareness, without resistance. The ocean receives this transition quietly, supporting transformation, redistributing substance, sustaining new life. The colossal squid dissolves into the system that shaped it, completing a cycle without ceremony. And far away, elsewhere, another colossal squid drifts, alive, intact, unaware, following the same ancient rhythm, continuing a story that has no beginning and no final line. The abyss does not pause for reflection. It proceeds slowly, steadily, carrying forward everything that enters it. The colossal squid exists within this movement, never separate, never distinct, always part of a greater flow. In this flow, the difference between motion and rest fades. Drifting becomes a form of travel. Stillness becomes a form of action. The squid neither seeks nor avoids. It adjusts, subtly, continuously, guided by forces it does not perceive. Pressure presses evenly from all sides, removing edges, softening contrast. The squid's body responds by distributing force and maintaining form, functioning in an environment that would erase most complexity. Its survival is not remarkable here. It is appropriate. Long periods pass without incident. The ocean remains unchanged. The squid remains suspended, arms trail, mantle barely moves, eyes remain open, sensing only what matters. Everything unnecessary dissolves into background. When energy is required, it is drawn carefully, released sparingly, never wasted. The deep ocean teaches restraint through scarcity. And the colossal squid has learned this lesson perfectly, not through memory, but through form. As the squid's life continues, it becomes increasingly quiet, increasingly integrated. Its presence influences the space around it less through action, more through simple mass, a slow-moving anchor within the water column. Eventually, the ocean guides the final adjustment. Buoyancy shifts, descent begins. The squid yields, not as surrender, but as continuation, another phase within the same unbroken pattern. Transformation follows, gradual, thorough, unseen. Matter returns to circulation. Energy redistributes. Life persists, supported by what has passed. This is not an ending. It is alignment. The colossal squid does not conclude. It completes, becoming part of the system that sustained it, leaving no interruption, no absence. And always, Somewhere else, another colossal squid drifts, living, growing, waiting, repeating the same ancient rhythm beneath the surface, beyond awareness, within the deep. In the deep, continuity is the only constant. The ocean does not recognize milestones, only gradients, shifts, and balance. The colossal squid exists within these gradients, moving when movement is required, resting when stillness preserves life. The water surrounding the squid is never truly still, yet it never rushes. Slow currents slide past, carrying heat, nutrients, and time itself. The squid drifts within these currents, supported, carried, unchanged by distance. Darkness here is not absence. It is condition. Vision is not for seeing shape, but for detecting change. The squid's enormous eyes remain open, sensitive to the smallest flicker, the slightest disruption. Everything else is ignored, energy conserved. The body reflects this discipline: dense muscle, thick mantle, arms heavy with strength, hooks quiet, waiting. Every structure exists for a single reason: to function efficiently where nothing is wasted. Days, months, years pass without distinction. The squid does not mark them. It simply persists, maintaining balance, responding only when required, letting the ocean do the rest. In this persistence, the squid becomes increasingly integrated. Its movements influence currents. Its presence alters space. Its eventual absence feeds new life. At every stage, it belongs. Far above, the surface world churns with activity, noise, light, urgency. Yet none of this reaches the depths. The abyss remains insulated, allowing lives like this to continue untouched. And so, beneath kilometers of water, within pressure that defines form, within darkness that absorbs all sound, the colossal squid drifts on, generation after generation, silent, patient, complete. In the deepest quiet, where motion becomes suggestion, the colossal squid exists without boundary. Its form is no longer something separate from the water, but a density within it, carried, supported, held in balance by pressure and time. The abyss does not ask why life persists. It simply allows it. Conditions remain constant, cold, dark, immense. And within these limits, forms like the colossal squid find permanence, not through dominance, but through perfect fit. The squid's immense body drifts with minimal effort, arms extended, hooks idle, mantle contracting only when absolutely necessary. In this economy of motion, energy is preserved, life is extended, endurance replaces urgency. Signals pass occasionally through the water, faint vibrations, distant chemical traces, echoes of life far removed. The squid receives only what matters, discarding the rest. Silence remains the dominant state over long spans. The squid's presence becomes habitual to the deep currents adjust around it. Smaller organisms avoid its mass. Space reorganizes subtly, even without action. It influences its surroundings. As life advances, movement slows. Further, not as decline, but as refinement, the squid yields more fully to buoyancy, allowing the ocean to carry its weight, eliminating effort wherever possible, becoming increasingly still. When transformation begins, it does so without announcement. Balance shifts, descent deepens. The squid does not resist. It aligns, continuing the same pattern under new conditions. Matter disperses, energy returns, structure dissolves. The deep accepts everything without pause, without memory, sustaining what comes next. And always, beyond this moment, elsewhere in the darkness, another colossal squid drifts, alive, growing, patient, repeating a rhythm older than mountains, older than ice, older than human thought. The abyss remains vast, silent, and complete, carrying forward life exactly as it has always done, unseen, uninterrupted, eternal. In the abyss, a permanence does not belong to individuals. It belongs to processes. The colossal squid is one expression of a process so ancient. It has no clear origin and no true conclusion. The deep ocean moves slowly, but it never stops. Currents slide beneath one another, carrying dissolved minerals, organic traces, and the remains of countless lives. The squid drifts within this motion, supported, unopposed, unchanged by the passage of distance. Nothing here demands attention. There are no sudden shifts, no sharp contrasts, only gradual change. The squid responds instinctively, adjusting depth, orientation, posture, always conserving, always yielding where resistance would waste energy. In this environment, restraint becomes strength. The squid does not expand its territory. It does not patrol. It does not seek. It remains, allowing the ocean to bring what is needed and to take what is no longer required. As time accumulates, the squid's activity narrows further. Responses become fewer but more precise. Only unmistakable signals provoke action. Everything else is absorbed into the background stillness, ignored, allowed to pass. The body adapts continuously, distributing pressure, equalizing density, maintaining form with minimal effort. Muscles relax, tension fades, motion becomes suggestion rather than action. Eventually, the ocean initiates the final redistribution. Buoyancy shifts, descent deepens. The squid yields completely, becoming carried rather than carrying itself, supported entirely by the water that has always sustained it. Transformation unfolds without boundary. Tissue softens, structure releases, matter disperses, feeding systems that operate far below awareness. The squid's presence dissolves into influence, its form into function. Above, life continues, currents rise, nutrients circulate, surface ecosystems thrive, all connected invisibly to what has occurred far below. Deep never isolates, it integrates. And so, beneath all noise, beneath all light, beneath all history, the colossal squid's lineage continues, not as memory, but as pattern, unfolding endlessly in silence and time. In this silent realm, even change moves quietly. Nothing arrives suddenly. Nothing departs completely. The deep ocean absorbs all transitions, smoothing them into continuity. The colossal squid exists within this softness, shaped not by moments, but by duration. The pressure here is constant, unyielding, yet gentle in its own way. It holds every surface equally, removing sharp contrasts, enforcing balance. The squid's body responds by relaxing into this embrace, no longer resisting, no longer correcting, simply remaining. What humans would call stillness, the deep understands as equilibrium. The squid drifts, suspended between rising and sinking, its mass perfectly matched to the density around it. Arms extend, hooks rest, mantle quiet, life reduced to its calmest state. There is no boredom, no anticipation, no sense of waiting, only presence, sustained, continuous. The colossal squid does not hope for change, it does not fear it. It accepts whatever the ocean provides and releases whatever it takes away. When subtle signals pass through the water, the squid registers them faintly, distant movement, distant chemistry, echoes of events far removed. These signals rarely matter now, and so they fade, absorbed by the vastness around them. As existence continues, the squid's influence becomes increasingly diffuse. Its mass still alters currents, its chemistry still feeds microscopic life, but its form asserts less, blending more, becoming background rather than figure. This blending is not disappearance. It is integration. The deep ocean does not erase life. It incorporates it, distributing presence across systems that operate beyond observation. Somewhere else, far away, another colossal squid begins the same slow process, drifting, growing, aligning, unaware of predecessors, unaware of successors, yet perfectly placed within the same enduring rhythm. The abyss holds them all, without judgment, without memory, without end, carrying forward the quiet persistence of life in darkness and time, in the deepest reaches, where the ocean's weight presses evenly from all sides. Life no longer strives, it settles. The colossal squid exists here not as an anomaly, but as an expected presence, a form shaped precisely for this density, this darkness, this pace. The abyss does not accelerate, it accumulates. Time gathers rather than passes, moments layer upon one another, indistinguishable, inseparable. The squid moves through this layered time without awareness, sustained by rhythms too slow to measure. Its body responds to the deep automatically. Buoyancy adjusted, pressure equalized, muscles relaxed. Nothing is tense, nothing is hurried. Even readiness exists without urgency, hooks prepared, arms capable. Yet motion withheld until necessity becomes undeniable. In this restraint, the squid preserves itself. Energy remains stored, functions remain intact. Endurance extends far beyond what surface life could sustain. The deep rewards this economy, punishes waste. And the colossal squid has learned this lesson through form alone. Occasional disturbances ripple faintly through the water, a whale far above, a shifting current, falling debris from distant surface life. These signals thin as they descend, arriving as whispers. The squid registers only those that matter. Everything else dissolves into silence. As the animal's life advances, responses become fewer, yet more exact. Each movement carries intention. Each pause carries preservation. The squid becomes quieter, heavier, more deeply embedded within the ocean's structure. Eventually, the difference between carrying and being carried disappears. The squid yields fully to density, allowing the water to support every surface. Movement fades, equilibrium deepens. Existence narrows to presence alone. When transformation unfolds, it does so without boundary. No moment defines it, no signal marks it. The squid's substance redistributes, feeding unseen systems. sustaining lives that depend on what has passed. And while this occurs elsewhere, always elsewhere, another colossal squid drifts, alive, immense, patient, repeating a rhythm that has never required witness, unfolding endlessly beneath light, beneath noise, beneath time. The deep ocean remains vast, unbroken, and complete, carrying forward life in silence, exactly as it always has. In the abyss, nothing concludes, it only transforms. Presence becomes influence. Form becomes function, and function becomes background. The colossal squid moves through this transformation without resistance, because resistance has never been part of its design. The ocean here is not empty. It is complete, filled with gradients rather than objects, motion rather than events. The squid aligns with these gradients, adjusting subtly, endlessly, guided by balance rather than intention. What once required effort now occurs passively, buoyancy maintained, pressure absorbed, motion reduced to gentle drift. The squid exists as a calm distortion within the water, a mass that the ocean flows around, accepts, and carries. Signals grow faint, then rarer. The world simplifies further. Only the strongest impressions register. Everything else dissolves into uniform darkness. Silence deepens, not as absence, but as stability. At this stage, the squid no longer influences its surroundings through action, but through presence alone. Currents curve slightly, smaller life avoids the mass, chemical exchanges continue quietly. Integration replaces interaction. Time stretches again, becoming immeasurable. Days and years lose distinction. The squid does not age, it persists, until persistence itself becomes unnecessary. The transition unfolds without boundary, without marker, without notice. Matter disperses slowly, completely. Energy feeds unseen systems, sustaining organisms that thrive only in such depths. The colossal squid no longer exists as a form, yet remains as contribution, woven into the deep's endless circulation. And somewhere, far removed, untouched by this transition, another colossal squid continues, drifting, feeding, enduring, repeating a pattern refined over millions of years, unchanged, uninterrupted, eternal. The abyss holds all of this, without record, without reflection, without end, a realm where giants live, fade, and live again, not as memory, but as rhythm. In the deepest quiet, where the ocean's weight feels eternal, existence becomes simple, not reduced, but clarified. The colossal squid has always belonged to this clarity, a form shaped to endure without effort, to persist without struggle. The abyss does not celebrate life, nor does it mourn its passing. It maintains balance, absorbing every change into a steady state. The colossal squid is carried within this balance, sustained, then released without disruption. Darkness here is complete, yet not empty. It holds pressure, chemistry, movement, and memoryless continuity. The squid exists as one more expression of this fullness, never isolated, never alone, always integrated. At the final stage, when motion ceases entirely, there is no separation between animal and environment. Density equalizes, matter disperses, influence remains, flowing outward through invisible systems, nourishing life that will never know its source. The beak, the hooks, the last resilient structures persist longest, silent markers of a presence that once moved through black water. Even these will fade, eroded, buried, absorbed, returning fully to the deep. Above, currents rise, nutrients circulate, ecosystems far removed benefit unknowingly. The life of one colossal squid touches worlds it never approached, linking abyss to surface, past to future, without intention. Elsewhere, always. Elsewhere, another colossal squid drifts, young, growing, eyes widening to darkness, hooks forming, muscles strengthening, beginning a journey identical to countless others before it, unaware, yet perfectly aligned. The cycle does not repeat, it continues, uninterrupted, unbroken, timeless. Giants emerge, giants endure, giants dissolve, all within the same slow rhythm. And so, beneath kilometers of cold water, beyond light, beyond sound, beyond record, Colossal Squid lives on, not as a single creature, but as a presence distributed across time, sustained by darkness and silence, forever